Hello everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel Becoming a ROS Developer. I'm Desire and today we've got Ahmed who has completed the course C++
Well,
Basics for Robotics and he'll be giving us a presentation on that. So I'm going to hand over the platform to him so that he can begin his presentation. Alright, let's go when you're ready, Ahmed. Alright, can you can hear me, right?
yeah,
Okay, alright, cool.
so I will run the visualizer
Okay,
already create the command for that.
alright.
Now I'll run the non-class version. With the class one. So I will go to the other one, the classic version.
Mm-hmm.
I will enter the index, the front range index. Here the speed, I will set it 0.1. Maybe the speed, 0.5. Be short.
All right, so this is a very similar implementation to the Python one that we have seen earlier. Okay. All right, so as it does this, can you talk me through how you decide the robot's movement? Do you just let it move until it gets to within the threshold, then 10, or you do a time calculation?
First, I initiate the movement, so keep detecting the frontal range only, the frontal sector.
Mm-hmm.
If the frontal sector gets like the minimum value gets low, then I compare the frontal right and the frontal left. And if one of them is greater, then I will go to that side.
Mm-hmm.
But if both are less than the threshold, then I go to the left and the right, the left and the right. Then
Okay.
if one of them is greater, I will rotate 90 degree. This is the
Okay.
flow.
Okay. So at what frequency are you checking your LiDAR scan, or at what frequency is your LiDAR scan callback running?
Sorry, the
What
last one.
yes, what is the frequency at which your LiDAR scan callback is running, right? So how often does your robot check if there's something in front of it?
Let me check. I forgot.
Okay, sure.
before I was doing it without any delay.
Okay, okay.
No, still 16. So it's 60 FPS
Hmm.
frame per second. 60 times per second.
Ah, okay, okay. All right. Yeah, that's fast enough. All right, that's good. That's good. All right, so we can maybe stop execution here. So this was the class version, right? We saw the non-class earlier. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go. Let's
Yeah.
start with the non-class version. That's the one I want us to discuss the source code from. So maybe you can open that script first after you stop execution here. It was too close. Okay.
The error we got on the end is because the code is finished, but the thread is still running.
Mm-hmm,
The
mm-hmm.
other thread. That thing. So I forgot to wait for it, like using join.
Right. Yes. Right. Right. Okay. So that's a bit some interesting details, right? So I still want to see the code. So maybe open your IDE for now, and let's see the non-class version. So.
Non-class version, right?
Yes. Do you, okay, you're also using a thread in this one, I see.
Yeah, because I changed the whole interface, the robot interface. This is called the what is called the robot interface class.
Right, the one we give you.
So
Okay.
both of them they have to follow the same.
Okay, okay. All right, I see. Let's go one step down, so maybe we can scroll down a bit. All right, I see, I see. Are you doing any form of LiDAR scan monitoring in this version of the class, of the script?
No, not monitoring. Only
Okay,
just depending the status, the
just
monitor
printing.
on the other. Yeah,
Okay, okay. So here it's just for printing. Okay. So can
yeah,
you tell me a bit more about the changes that you made to the original interface, right? So I want to see the changes in this one since it was implemented in C++. It's unlike the one that we give you in Python. So you can tell me a
yeah,
bit more what changes you had to make.
yeah. The C++ actually it was very difficult because everything is like take a lot of steps, not like Python,
Mm-hmm.
only few. Like everything is built in like here, but you have here to deal with everything manually.
Okay, show us
For
an example of
example,
that, for example. Yeah, yes.
the type of the variables you have to determine which type you use. On the Python, you don't need that. You just put the variable, and by default it become.
It can deduce
But
what the
here,
type is. Okay, yeah.
yeah, but we can use alternative like the auto here. Same like Python, you just put the variable and at the compile time it know which variable you are using here, so it
Yes.
assign the type for it.
Right, right. Okay, so you spoke about using auto, right? Are there any conditions where you can't use auto?
Hmm?
What are the conditions in which you can't use auto, for example, right? Since you brought that up, can you just say for
Okay, for
any type
example,
in
if
C++
you don't know
that you understand?
if okay, if you have a function, you
Yeah.
don't know which type it returns, you can
Mm-hmm.
use auto, so it will automatically uh, make that variable on that type. Like for example, if the function return vector,
Mm-hmm.
it will make it vector. If it's array, normal double array or map, like that.
Okay, what if you want your auto to deduce a reference? How do you do that?
To reference,
Yeah, to deduce a reference, or you want it to make sure that it predicts a type of reference, not a type of anything standard like a double, an int, or something.
actually, I don't know.
All right,
But
all
I
right.
think normally when you want to do a reference,
Yeah,
you put the tag, then you add the and.
yeah, exactly. That so you basically know it, right?
Maybe I
Because
think here also.
yeah, that's correct. You said it correctly because auto will not be able to deduce a reference, so you have to add the reference to the end of the word, right? So you have to tell it that uh, you have to bind to a reference by adding an ampersand sign. Okay, but yeah, but good stuff. You were just unsure, but exactly that's how it works. So if we're going to pass something to a function, for example, I'm going to ask you to do this. Maybe write a function. Maybe you can call it small name like test function. How would you design such a function so that it would bind a reference as input and still use auto keyword? So maybe you can scroll down to the bottom of this script that we're looking at and you do that for me. Hi, Ahmad.
Hello, yes.
Are you still thinking? I was saying, can you write a function for me that you call test,
Ah, write a
which
function.
takes yes,
Okay.
which takes
I didn't hear you. I thought
yeah,
you just want to go. Okay.
which
So
takes
you
a
want function to run on the main here
no, no, no.
or the
We
class?
it's just a it doesn't have to be in any scope, not in the main scope. Just write a test function that takes a parameter that uses auto to deduce the type of its parameters, right, and bind them by reference. That's what I was saying.
I didn't hear the last thing. Sorry.
You have to make sure that your function binds its
Mhm.
parameters or accepts its parameters by reference, not by value. You understand the difference?
The argument will be a reference, not a value, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. But I need to know the type of that variable.
The return type, let's just say it returns an int, for example. Let's say it returns an integer, right? So your function will return an int, but it has to bind a function by a parameter by reference, and you want to use auto to deduce the type of the argument that it's going to take. Does it make sense?
Actually I never did something like that. What I know, I can pass a pointer for a variable, but
Okay,
I
so
don't know about the.
all right, yeah, yeah. So let's say you want to write a for loop, right? And you don't want to write the type. You want to use auto, right? To deduce the type of the values that you are iterating over, right? So you'd write for something, something, something in this, do this, right?
Okay, let me type it.
Yes,
So you said for.
yes. And then obviously because it's C++, you have to declare the type, and then I said for the type you have to use auto, right?
For the type you want me to use auto?
Yes.
Okay, it's 0, right?
Yes, right. So what I was asking you earlier on was that how would you, because this is a pass by value scenario, right, using auto. Then I was asking you how would you make it a pass by reference for this case?
Actually, I didn't understand, but so you want the variable to store the address or to store the
Yeah, okay, yes.
memory
But
address, right?
you answered me earlier. It's just that maybe you're not getting the way I'm asking the question, right? You know that for you to say for auto I something, right? That argument, in this case, you are declaring it and initializing it right there on the in the function itself, right? Let's say auto was representative of something that was declared above the for argument, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So this is what I was asking you, that the case that you're looking at right now is a pass by reference. So you are sending a copy of whatever I is to your for loop, right? You're not sending the original, right? And I was asking you, how would you do it if you wanted to send the original? How would you do it if you wanted to pass by reference to that for loop? If you wanted to pass whatever auto is representative of by reference to that for loop.
Okay, sorry. Maybe I misunderstand it, but the way I know is reference is just a variable that just is another name of a variable that pointing to the same memory of another object of another variable. That's what I know about reference.
All right.
Is it
And
right? Or
well, yeah, you're on the right track, right? I was going to ask you, what do you understand by a reference, right? And then the way you said, yeah, it's satisfactory, right? And then I'm going to make a follow-up question and say, what is the difference between a reference and a pointer?
yeah, the reference is just pointing to, for example, if you have a variable x and you made a reference y, that y equal the address of x. So that's y is just another name of the, you can just imagine as another name for the exact x. So any modification you do on y, x will get the same modification.
Hmm.
But the pointer stored the address of that x, not the, so the pointer variable, it has the address of that variable on its memory, not pointing to, like, I don't know how to explain that. So
There's a very simple difference between the two of them, right? I'm going to let you try find where that difference is, but at the end of the day, you're supposed to get there, right? Because there are two things that do the exact same job. It's just that one of them has got more power as compared to the other, right? But failure to understand where one is more powerful over the other and why is that's where most people trip up. So I'm going to ask you again. A reference and a pointer, what is the difference, right? So you have to do your best to show me what their differences are, because that will make me see that you understand what each of them does. Or maybe you can explain to them in terms of what does a reference do that a pointer can't do, or what does a pointer do that a reference cannot do, right? Because that's where the main issue is.
uh, so we can say the reference, actually they do the same thing, because with the pointer you can do anything the reference can do, because for example the pointer already give you the address for a specific variable, and the
Mm-hmm.
reference is already the memory of that variable, like it's the
Yes.
same place.
All
You
right.
just give another name.
All right. So why do we need both then? Why do we need to have both references and pointers?
Reference is the variable itself. You can say that, but the pointer is a memory that stored the address of that variable.
It's actually a pointer will also hold the address to that variable. A reference also holds the address to that variable. They're very subtle differences, right? So maybe you can go and look this up, and then you can.
Maybe I just understand it wrong,
Yeah,
because what I know is
you're very close. You're very, very close. They all both hold
what
addresses for whatever variable is, right? It's just that one of them you can reassign, the other one you can't. Um, But anyways, let's go to the next step, right? So I was going to be asking you about the auto keyword, but I think maybe you're struggling to hear to fully understand what I was expecting of you, right? But for now, I think let's talk in a bit more about some of the differences that you saw between having to use a class version and a non-class version, right? And then in addition to that, we're going to get into more detail about the class version. So tell me in general terms, when you're looking at your
Okay,
non-class
my
version versus the
view,
class
I
version.
think
Mm-hmm.
uh, there is not something that give advantage for each. Like there's both of the styles are what is called serving different purpose. Like there is no one better than the other, because I see the non-classic version is very simple to understand.
Okay.
But in terms of if you have a lot of code, it will be a little bit hard because you need to memorize every line, because you have a lot of code, bunch of code you have to, like, it will not be that clear. Like, you have to
Okay.
understand the code, read many times to understand the code. But if you use the class version, because you can put a group of code, a block of code on a specific class and call it something, then the person can just read that class and he already understand what is the point of the whole class can do and all the function it has. Like the robot example, it's a robot and has a lot of features like rotate, move, the method inside the class. And for debugging, I think the class is hard to debug because you have to go inside the classes itself, not like the a code. It's just like everything is in front of you. You don't need to go there, open this file and check inside. Like that's what I feel.
Okay. Yeah. It's a yes or no. It actually depends on the kind of proceduring programming paradigm that you're using, right? So based on whether you're doing procedural or you're doing object oriented, one of them has got slightly more power over the other based on the kind of paradigm that you're using. However,
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
the class one is more powerful because you can like if you have a very large code, you can manage it easily. But on the non-class version, it will be like a mess, like a lot of lines, like thousands of lines, and it will be hard to to follow or manage. But the class, you can just make a bunch of classes, each make a specific purpose. So everything will be managed. And I think for teams, the cloud version will be the good one because everyone will just maybe can just work on specific class or something like that.
Mm-hmm,
That's what I
mm-hmm.
think.
Yeah, it makes breaking down of the work easier because you can just classify everything as a
And
is
also the ability to copy, like for example, if you want to use multiple robot instance,
mm-hmm,
in the non-classic version, you have to copy the whole code again and again and again. But on the classic version, you just instance the class and that's it.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, yeah, makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. All right. So, last but not least, I saw you were using some types, right? So you were using a map. Can you tell me why you chose to use a map to hold some data values? For example, I think it's somewhere at the top of the nonce class version, right, where you use the standard map. And I want to understand why did you have to choose that type? What advantages was it giving you over just creating a vector, for example, right?
For efficiency, I don't think the map is good option because I
Can you tell?
think
Yeah.
the array is better than the map, but it will make it easy for you to manage it in your code because you just type the thing you want, the item you want,
Mm-hmm.
and it can give you. And also for managing, if you have too much data, it will be easy to manage. It's not like the array, because the array is very hard. and the array cannot hold different what is called different types.
Right. So,
So not
okay, so
yes.
I'm assuming that when you say you could have used an array in place of where you used a map, right? What type of array would that look like? Uh, can you give in more detail about
Okay,
that?
let's see example of the array. For example, let me use the map. You want to know you use it as a dictionary, like on Python the dictionary, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You you type the on the array. I think you can make two arrays, one to get the or two-dimensional array.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think
So
two dimensional.
this is where I wanted you to get to, right? Because it's going to get complicated, right? You had suggested a
Yeah,
solution where, okay, I get an array and I use an array because it's a lot faster, but then you get into entanglements when you start thinking about, okay, I'm gonna make a two-dimensional array, but now you have two dimensions to worry about, and how you iterate over them becomes
yeah.
a real,
That's
uh,
what I'm trying to say. It's efficiently good, but it's very hard and very complex to use the array. The map make everything easy
mhm,
and
because you have
very
keys.
simple to learn. Yeah.
Yeah, right, right. So if you were going, because I know you did take the Python course, right? If you're going to compare a map to some other Python data type, what would the map be analogous to?
You mean compare with the
Yeah,
dictionary?
y- yeah, yeah, maybe.
On the Python dictionary is very simple. It's not like the map.
Yeah, so
The
can,
map here it looks like you need more details like which type you will use on the map and
right?
a lot of requirements. Not like the Python one is very simple. Just put the what is called.
All right, so because we're talking about C++, right? So I'm going to ask you this, like just to probe you a bit deeper. So if you were going to make your, let's say your array, you said your array would only constrain you to holding a single data type, right? If you wanted it to hold
Hmm?
more than one data type, what would you do? Like what C++ tools would you look for? Do you know
I
any?
can use the struct. Struct.
And what would that, so how would you use a struct, right? I'm going to ask you further. Explain to me how would you use a struct so that you end up being able to put types of, I mean, different types in that array.
Okay. You make, for example, the array you want to hold the integer and
And the float, for example.
a float.
Yeah.
So you make a struct and you make an integer type and what is called the double,
Mm-hmm.
and then you you use that the what is called the struct you made as a type to the array you want to use.
Well, isn't there some other recently introduced C++ type that you can use for this?
What
Is there not a type that's already defined in C++ for this?
type for to hold the integer and double at the same time?
Like yeah, to generalize the data types that you can pass to a particular container.
Wait, let me remember.
Oh, you can
I need
check.
to use this.
You can check, but you've basically answered my question, right? You can check later on, but you have answered the question correctly because you have to put your types in some type of a wrapper, which makes them children of a, a similar class, or it makes them be perceived to be objects of the same type. However, I'll leave this for you to do. We are out of time, but thank you very
Okay.
much for your presentation, Ahmad. So we're just gonna wrap it up here and then we'll finish our conversation on Zoom. All right. All right, everyone. This was Ahmad's presentation, and I'd like to encourage all those of you who would want to try this course, C++ Basics for Robotics, to do that, and you can also come and showcase your work. And until next time, keep pushing your learning. Bye bye.